All right, I think we're going to be starting soon. I got your questions up on my Fig Jam. I'm going to share the Fig Jam also. So any of my listeners can make a comment, add whatever memes you like, mostly memes, please. But anyway, I'm going to add that to my LinkedIn later if you catch this recording later. But I'm going to take this starting soon now. We are starting. So yeah, I'm just playing around with the Jam right now. I just want to talk about some of my favorite features about it. Obviously, there's noisy gradients here that I have up. This plus sign is where you see more of the integration area. So there's a lot of nice templates, widgets, and plugins. But yeah, I think there's an unlimited amount of plugins, and I'm pretty interested in if there's basically if there's a way to like even be a part of this or let's see, no. All right. But anyways, just give me a few more minutes before I get started. See you soon. All right. I think it's about time to start the live today. I'm gonna jump on camera. Hey everybody, Elise here. Hello Substack and LinkedIn and my subscribers. Nice to see you. Yeah, so the reason why I'm having this call today is that there has been some interest in talking about product questions and my perspective on them. So I thought it would be cool to just go through these. And in full transparency, I have read the question once or twice, and I have answered this question. And I prefer to go through each example with something from my career, like a real world example, right? Okay, so let's dive right in. Right now, here's a question number one. When you're working with user feedback, what trends to be the most time consuming or most frustrating in your practice? What tend to be? So I'm going to break this question down into a couple categories. First of all, okay. I always position myself as a user-centric product manager. I build products for users. Again, I use all my tools, including artificial intelligence, to build tools for users. I'm not building tools like today. I'm more a user and UI concerned product manager. I'm not building tools for AI today. I know people do have optimizations tools they want to build for AI to run autonomously, even places where they can chat autonomously with no humans around. And I know there's training programs, in fact, that you can help AI learn better. I'm building products for users who are working user feedback. The trends I'm seeing in AI, I'm really excited about. Yeah, for sure. I think Gen AI is where I want to focus on for this question. How about that? When you're working with user feedback, and the time consuming and frustrating part in the practice is where I would love to bring in the use of AI and tooling. Okay, so here's the thing. When you're working in a big organization like Meta or Facebook, and you're going through user feedback, you're going to get so much user feedback that it's from anything from pings to the back end, or is it double clicks on a button that's broken and we find there's a bug. There's some things like that happen. Time consuming part is basically sifting through that and also conceptualizing how big of a problem it is, right? So for me, when I'm speaking to users, we do these user interviews. Typically we sit there, we guide them along, click this, click that. Now, with something like a great outsourcing of that time, but not necessarily taking away from the designer's ability to design, is to have an AI call and basically record all of those user clicks within the call. Typically, that's what you would do anyways, right? It's time consuming to do that. I would integrate something that has heat mapping and just like recording voice and screen. Of course, always remember, because you don't want to erode your trust with your users, tell them in the beginning, I'm going to be using these tools. Let's dive into it. So yeah, I would say it's frustrating because usually that takes a lot of time. Again, time consuming, and the frustrating part is just like sifting through the amount of data. And I would say using an AI tool would be helpful. I remember sitting in the music room showing off my product Airlock to users, and I would actually record them on my phone because I would like to go back and see, how they were responding in real time. And I would do a screen capture on my Mac just so I could have like that footage. However, we didn't have the infrastructure to even analyze that data. So it's a third-party tool usually to do heat mapping. And I didn't have access to any of that while building my product. I had to make it a little bit of a, concession and use other tooling, and then do it myself and put that all together. So I can go and present to leadership about, okay, we would love to add this new auto fix feature. Here is the user research. Here is our problem statement. Here is our PRD. Here are the facts, right? Here's the baseline. Right now, the baseline is 50 seconds. This person's having a long time waiting, getting frustrated. So we've seen in user research that we are going to use our AI tool to interview about 500 people, and see like the volume is higher now. So that, you have a larger percentage of the user population. And then we're gonna just send this off to them via chat. Okay, so no one's even having a call with them, but incentivize it, right? Incentivize. They're giving feedback. It's gonna take about 3 to 5 minutes. We have it all set up, script, everything on the Figma design that my designer and I go through, right? Then I would go and say, hey, if you sign up and do this, we're gonna give you like a credit for a badge or some sort of thing you want to swipe in the vending machine. Easy as that. $5 credit. Give me a 30-minute of your time. I, in the perfect world, would love to give away that, but in the unperfect world, I have to run my own competitions where I make swag like sweatshirts, beer openers, magnets, frisbees on my own dime because I really care about my users, and then I send that off to them. Sometimes it's funded, sometimes it's not funded by the business. Do I do this regardless it is? Yes, because I want to give away some incentivization. And I actually do get people to do it. Okay, so The one time consuming thing would be actually having those recorded sessions so I can focus on that whole user experience, right? To go to that person and make sure I deliver that hoodie for actually taking my user like interview for my product, right? Airlock in this case, the autofix. And then bam, we have a relationship. They're my champion. And that's how I approach product, from breaking this down to a user problem to actually creating a relationship is where I try to use my product skills in the most part. And of course, like working with all the teams and stakeholders, but just dissecting like how I would approach it. That's how I think first. Thanks for that question. I'm going to take a little pause here. All right. So given that we have another 15 minutes, I think I can get through these 2 questions. And then we'll close out today with a look into a new product that I've been obsessed with lately. All right, so let's take this. Given your experience as a product manager, I really value your perspective on the most frustrating part of your day. What? Sorry, guys. This is double. My bad. Pause, please. I'll replace this. Aha. What? We're going to skip to this last question while I do that because we don't have all the time in the world, guys. All right. So, and also, I just want to shout out really quickly for folks who want to have me answer their questions. Definitely go on LinkedIn. Definitely go on Substack. Please subscribe. We're going to put out new content every week. All right. And definitely be ready for my giveaways. You crushed it. We're going to have some big news coming up in June. Okay. Some digital transformation projects that I'm really excited about. And also, a giveaway. A swag giveaway. All right. Let's take a look at this one. And again, looking at these questions is from my perspective as a product manager, working from, all the way from like working as a customer-centric product manager, working in the trenches with the users, being an onboarding engineer, being that like account management technical side, talking to the customer every week, every day. But then climbing towards like the product manager role, right? So we are still concerned about the customer's problems. I've stepped away from troubleshooting. I was pretty good at detecting bugs. I still am, but I've stepped away and I've made it more of a concern of mine to basically tackle these root causes and fixes on a level where I can maybe build alerting, right? To like avoid any sort of bugs instead of me being more proactive. And like, I also have experience being reactive. Being proactive about it is going to save me time and help me get the root cause easier, because if we're logging and we see trends, we have logs, and also all of our APIs are coming through one source of truth. I'd say you need some sort of Snowflake big data, like you need some sort of unified source, even if it's not outside SaaS. So basically, I'll talk about one time that I tracked down a bug, figured out the root cause, according to everything to fix it. All right, so back in the day, I was working at Staffbase. We launched mobile apps for companies there, large enterprise, even small businesses around thousands of employees, all the way to 150,000 to 200,000 users, and unique hits every day. So they're using Android, they're using website, they're using browser, and they're using iPhone, they're using tablet. Some of them Linux users. Shout out. So it turns out we had a problem with the launching of our iOS app. No problems at all with the Android, go figure. So it was a large client and they had a VPN that we were all aware of. That a VPN was, one of the things they have in their internal network. So from our side, there is no problem about a VPN from our side. We're actually just a website that you call through the VPN. And then from iOS side, the build will include some actions that ramp up the app, like the loading screen and things. Those are actually, yes, those are different sites that get loaded before the web app gets loaded into the container of an app. And I didn't know this until, We identified the root cause, but the client had a problem with that step right before the website is loaded. And it was only an issue on mobile devices. So when that would happen is they would freeze right on the loading screen. You would never enter the app. And then sometimes you would enter the app only on special cases if you had the VPN turned off. So again, setting up a phone to track that down. I worked directly with the client weekly. I made sure I went on site with them. I brought my own testing device to Germany to sit down with my engineers. I remember this. We were in Prague at our offsite. I was sitting in this beautiful concert hall, and meanwhile, I'm looking at VPN with my developer. I had an out-of-body surreal moment. And then while we were looking at that together, it took him all of 15 minutes to tell me what was going on, just because he knows the behavior of the app so well. And I don't have that luxury all the time to sit down with my engineers, but in a case of this, we did get to sit down. And I think with that large client, you got to see, is this going to be a deal breaker if we can't fix it? And yes, it was going to, in fact, launch. 80% of their users were iOS, whether that be iOS on MacBook or, native phone. So yeah, I remember sitting in that big room. He diagnosed it within 15 minutes. And then the next steps to coordinate and fix it is to add some basically allow listing in their network so the app could load, building a new app, submitting that to the App Store in haste, getting our Apple iOS developer to help mix something up with the core code that would allow flexibility, which wasn't allowed before. So yeah, there was definitely more changes, I'd say, on the SaaS product that I saw than on the customer side. I remember going there on site, and they're just such a big corporation. I can't really say the name, but it's in something in the medical field due to NDA. They had 7 to 8 redirects happening on every web page. That's a lot, and that takes time. So there was a complaint about that, which also caused the app to crash. Regardless of which, the way I coordinated this fix is that I started with the customer, reported the problem as best as I could, tried doing testing on my own, looked at the app code, could not figure it out for the life of me, talked to my engineers, basically spoke with them, tracked them down in person, because it was so happened that we were having that offsite. If I wasn't able to, I would definitely jump on a call with them, and I was considering even mailing them the iPhone overnight. Basically, to figure out the root cause is to look with them, see the app crashing, seeing that it's stuck on a log screen, coordinated. In this way, coordinated with my team, we built out a way to deploy a specific software to this large client. Fix it. Core code was actually interrupted. So I hope that makes a little sense. So basically, not interrupted, but when you're working with a SaaS company, at any SaaS company, your main goal as a product manager is to keep the platform running and keep the vision of the company strong. If there's a customer coming in who needs multiple core code editing, that's a big risk. You have to talk to a lot of people, legal. You don't have to go right to escalate this. You can get all the information you need first. But I think from my side, I have a technical background. So if I hear core code being adjusted, my alarm bells go off, right? And that's when I involve head of product. That's when I involve, escalation pathways that are established. If there's not an escalation pathway, I always recommend going straight to customer support in any of your organizations, especially if you're new joining a company, you don't know, who to talk to. Make friends with those folks. Make friends with your engineers. Be good to your engineers and be good to your coworkers in that field because they are the best. Shout out. So yeah, I hope that helps explain how we were able to track down this problem and crush it. Yay. And then, can we pause just 1 second? I just want to see something. I'm going to change the gradient. Something new. All right. Noisy. Oh, let's try this one, guys. Let's try this one. Ooh, love. Very soft. Okay. Give me a minute while I pull up the last question. Thank you. Okay, we are back to answer one more question before we close out the half hour of live. All right, so let me get back on camera. This question came to me on LinkedIn, and I'm going to start with the question they asked me. Thanks for asking again. And yeah, as somebody passionate about building impactful products and driving innovation, I'd love to connect and learn more about your journey. I'm currently exploring opportunities in product management and always eager to exchange insights. Thanks. And I think, first of all, that's an awesome opportunity for us to exchange insights. Let me start with my journey. And I appreciate the connect. So, product journey. We all come from different areas in life, right? For me, actually, I'm a science background, nutrition, and a bit of early adopter in YouTube. My product journey started in New York when I was working on a few startups. I was thinking marketing might be great for me. It was in the middle of a recession. I was like, oh, I don't want to work clinical. What am I going to do now? I've been building websites my whole life, pretty much. Low-key, okay, so I started in high school. Great job, great opportunity to work in the visual arts and also digital web design, building out Java and building out JavaScript too. I also worked in Flash animation. That was an area where I was really focusing on. And Flash animation can be pretty much anything from stop motion animation, all around that area. So my journey thought I was going to be UX designer. I thought I was going to do that, build up to it. I got an offer after working a few unpaid internships in New York. They would give me lunch and stuff, but I got an offer for a real company. Came kind of like out of the blue. I've been applying, and then it worked out. I stayed there 5 years. During those 5 years at the company, staff base, I really did grow. I started thinking I was going to just be UX designer. I want to build out use cases. I want to build products that are impactful for users actually in their day-to-day life to make it easier for them. And I had that in my heart that, okay, this is where I want to take a stand. If I'm not making your day easier, I'm taking away stress in your life or not being able to integrate backends to not have Franken software floating around, then I'm not really going to be so totally passionate about that. I want to be passionate and really distinct about my angle in product management to really care about the user experience design and pair that a little bit too with reliability and security. Then my dream job came along, working at Facebook. Hey, I came all the way from nowhere, Nowheresville, and now I'm working at Meta. That's a pretty big deal for me. I said, is this a real opportunity when it came my way? And it was. But yeah, as I'm saying, my product journey is different from everybody. I'd say start with your passion always. So if your passion is user-centric design, focus on that user-centric design. If your passion is staying up with the latest finance trends, okay, and making it easier for day traders, go in that lane. If you're a security person, you care about, overwhelmingly a best experience as long as it abides by security. And if it doesn't, then, we have to always take company assets first and users second, unfortunately. That's fine. If I have to, build a product that starts monitoring people's data, at one point in my life, I was a little against it. But then again, as long as you're opting in, I see data collection as an opportunity, but if you're not using data for what, I don't really think it should be retained. Either way, exploring product management makes me think about the opportunities that are out there right now. And I've seen a lot of job postings lately, so maybe the market is changing. Great. I'd love to see the growth. I guess I'll leave you with a little bit of advice today too. I want you to know you're not alone when you're applying to these jobs, you're preparing for your interviews, and you feel lost. You feel you're doing so much and, not getting much response. 200 people applying one job. I get it. I'm there with you, so I understand that, you're reaching out to me for a job that I post. I do my best to try to share jobs within the community. Although I cannot guarantee your employment, I'm here for support. Let's start some dialogue. Let's exchange some ideas, just like this subscriber said to me. And yeah, if you become a subscriber, one little last plug before I sign off for the day, you get a 30-minute call with me. Let's exchange some ideas. And that's for free, totally for free. Yeah, I hope you can join us next time when we answer some questions. Keep those questions coming. All right, everybody, you crushed it, community, product community. Take care. All right, thanks. Have a great day. Bye.